Well, Ren, since last podcast was my film, which is Kingsman.
We should say we did say something about Foreigner, I think last, and we didn't get to see it because apparently
it's only
nobody wants to show it anywhere here.
It is in the Hoyt Cinema in the city.
Central.
Yeah, but
it's up near where I work, oddly enough.
Yeah, but we just, in terms of time constraints... Ren, I'm going to blame this on you because you have to go away this week.
Yeah, that's true.
So, due to time constraints...
We had to push this.
It looks really good. Apparently, it's actually a lot of it's in Chinese. And
yes. I've also heard a lot of it's not action.
Ooh.
It's like a political thriller.
Espionage, kind of.
Yeah, it's like more of a political thriller. And it's a bit of action. It's not like Jackie's usual action either.
But I think he wanted to do something different for this film.
I think it's because he's getting old, to be honest.
Yeah.
Not because he can't do stuff.
Have you seen, if you've looked at like the red carpet kind of thing, he looks very like a bit more worn down, I think.
Oh, yeah. You'd expect
But that being said, Rush Hour 4?
4 is coming. And Shanghai Dawn.
Yes, I'm a bit like...
Stunt doubles.
Yeah,
pretty much. That's what they do in Hollywood, anyway.
Yeah.
But I've heard his performance is really good.
That's good. I'm excited to watch.
He's pretty good acting-wise. And I've heard people say it's Pierce Brosnan's best performance.
Mm.
He's like the antagonist.
One of my friends was really annoyed with his accent.
He's Irish, I think.
Yeah, and they're like, why? It's so stupid. So I don't know if she hasn't watched the film, but she was just saying how, like, from the trailer and stuff, it just seems stupid. But who knows? It could be really good. I know that
it's a story aspect because he's supposed to be a former IRA contact.
Yeah. So we didn't get to see The Foreigner. We did get to see the film that you wanted to see, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
so last week we did Linda's long-awaited sequel, and this week we did my long-awaited sequel.
Wasn't shit.
Wasn't shit.
Life
no, not at all.
Life is so fucking unfair. I know you're going to probably jump into Blade Runner in the next, few minutes. Mm-hmm. But before we do anything like that, I just want to say, you know what I'm going to say next about Mark Strong.
Yes.
Because he's Merlin. And I know a lot of people, whoever listened, knew that I was really upset about Merlin's death. Whenever something like that happens, I, go into, what I like to call the movie hole.
Mm-hmm.
I fall down the movie hole.
Mm-hmm.
Whether I remember if it was when I saw Tom Hiddleston as Loki and stuff, I looked up all the films that actor had done, and I was like, oh my god, they're amazing in that role. I want to see more. And
then with Tom Hiddleston, you saw more, and you went, oh,
yeah, sorry,
that's it. That's it, really.
Yeah, so he had a few, and then I waited for Crimson Peak to come out and stuff, and then I waited for High Rise. I haven't seen High Rise yet, but
that's good.
I waited for The Night Manager and all that to come out, and
Night Manager is good except for him.
It was a little disappointing. But Mark Strong, who
he's a good actor,
is an amazing actor. Mm-hmm. I literally was like, I'm just going to look at some of the films he's done more recently. Just, I really enjoy him as an actor. I think he's a really talented actor. He's British. He's amazing. And then, I was literally smacked with, a freaking film like this,
He's been in a lot.
Yeah, a 50-foot page long filmography section in Wikipedia. And I was like, and I watched there was one that he was a good actor in, but it was just a bad film, which was When I Sleep or something like that. The one with Colin Firth and Nicole Kidman.
I haven't seen it.
And it got really bad. It got 30-something%, I think, on...
they can't all be winners.
Yeah, but he was a really good character. He was a really good actor. So Nicole Kidman, I don't know how I feel about her because I'm I like you.
She can be good in something, but she's terrible in others.
Yeah, so it was a bit hit or miss. I saw him Stardust he was really good in, and that film
Stardust is a fun movie.
Is a really fun movie. It's not I wouldn't classify it as a very serious film.
I'd say it's to me it reminds me of Princess Bride.
Yeah, right? Or I was going to say, what? It wasn't Princess Bride. It was another one that I watched. But that type of satire, but not satire.
Not satire. It's just campy.
Yeah.
A bit campy.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed him in that. And I watched Rock and Roller, which is...
good.
So good. One of my favourite films of all time now. I'm going to add that to my list.
Have you seen The Guard yet?
No, I need to. And then he has a few TV shows as well that he's in, that he's actually a protagonist in. I want to see him... He's very good in those, darkish films. He's very... he just looks like a villain. I know that sounds weird, but he's tall, he's very lanky, so he's a very... I don't want to say slender man, but he's a bit of a slender man-ish figure.
Yeah, he could play a Slender
He could.
Man.
He'd be amazing as Slender Man, so...
Although I just want to... You would never see his face and he wouldn't really act in it, so what's the point? That's what he does.
That's what it'd be. A lot of that. Yeah, but I just want to put that out there that I have fallen down that movie hole.
You should watch Body of Lies, because that is the first film I saw him in that I took note of him. Because I didn't know who he was before that film.
That film, he was... it's talking about, like... wow, I can't finish sentences. That's what I can't do. Mm-hmm. But I looked up the summary for that. He plays a prince
He's the Jordanian,
leader.
Yeah, I think he's some sort of leader. I can't remember.
He's some sort of person of power.
It's about Jordan, basically, as a country sort of falling apart, I think, during the whole Middle East crisis. And it's like DiCaprio's a field agent who has to report to Russell Crowe, who's like back in Langley, CIA sort of thing. And it's like the dynamic of like Russell Crowe does not give a shit what this field agent has to go through. He's just like, no, you do this thing.
You do what you need to do.
You do what we tell you, sort of. And it's very good. But Mark Strong is fantastic in it because... I saw him in that, and then I saw him in something else. I couldn't believe it was the same person.
Well, I couldn't believe that he was the guy who played Merlin and the guy who played fucking Blackwood in... I mean, Sherlock, that American series, it's not amazing. It's not horrible.
It's Guy Ritchie as well.
Yeah, like... Well, that's the thing. Guy Ritchie... did he do Prometheus?
No, that's Ridley Scott.
That's Ridley Scott. But Ridley Scott, I don't understand how he did Alien and then he did, like, Exodius or whatever it's called.
Ridley Scott is very... You mean Covenant?
Covenant. Yeah,
Alien Covenant?
He did this film. Was it him who did Exodius? I don't want to talk about it.
It must be that bad that I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it is really bad.
He did.
I've only seen bad reviews of that film, if that makes any sense.
Scott, Exodus.
Yeah.
About Moses and the Egyptian prince.
Maybe.
With Christian Bale and what's his name? The Aussie guy.
I don't know. Actually, I don't know, Ben. I only, like,
It's Exodus, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just a bland...
What did I say it was?
Exodius.
Oh, fuck.
It's fucking Yu-Gi-Oh!
That is... Wait.
No, Ridley Scott's very good visually.
Yeah.
We're going to go into Ridley Scott because he directed Blade Runner.
Yeah, anyways. And also, like, yeah, but Guy Ritchie, like, he did a lot of good ones. Like, he did Stock, Lock, and Two...
Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking
Barrels. And then he did
His
Snatch,
early stuff
which
is very
I really
good.
need to watch. But then he also did...
So he started
something
to get...
newer, and it was really weird.
To me, he started to get... He married Madonna, and I think this is half of the reason why. He started just to do, like, projects that were, like, money projects. Like, he did Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He did Sherlock Holmes.
He did, Sherlock Holmes 1 and 2, and then he did... Sherlock Holmes 2.
Sherlock Holmes 2,
yeah. I had it in my brain a second ago, and I can't think... One of them was The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
That was pretty good, though.
That was okay.
And
King Arthur is the most
that
recent
was.
one.
Oh yeah, no, that's the one I was
awful.
thinking about. I was like, there's one he did that was really bad.
The next film apparently he's doing is Aladdin. The live action remake.
I'm fucking sick of it. We both have very clear views on what we think about live action Disney sequel remakes. That was a
especially
mouthful.
if it's Aladdin. You can't bring Robin Williams
I
back
know,
to life.
do not break my heart. Anyways, no, but we're going to talk about Blade Runner because this is what we're here to do, and I don't want to steal your thunder.
So this movie's been kind of long awaited, I suppose. Oh, I don't know, because it's kind of it's an interesting one. It's one film that you never really expected a sequel to because the first one flopped horribly when it came out and became a cult hit later, like an underground sort of thing, like people's. And it's mostly because I think the theatrical cut was supposed to be shit. I haven't seen it. I don't think it's supposed to be very good. But there's about like 5 cuts of this movie. The original. The final cut's supposed to be the one that everybody goes to now. It's the one released in 2007 that Ridley Scott had complete creative control over. Yeah. Which is kind of a problem at the same time because Ridley Scott has a belief about the Deckard character that literally nobody else involved in the production agreed with.
Was it?
That Deckard's a replicant.
Oh, yeah.
He thinks that Deckard's a replicant. Everybody else is like, don't do that. That's a stupid idea.
Stop. But it's like, do you ever think, like, you know, he's at the editing desk, like, with the editors, and he's like, can you do this? And they're like, Mr. Scott, like, this is not just do it, I'm paying
There's
you.
a lot of really good things you did with the final cut, because it's like, it's all been, like, remastered, and, like, it's really nice. It looks really nice, and I think they did something to the soundtrack, Vangelis' soundtrack.
Oh my god, can we talk about the soundtrack in Blade Runner in a second?
In 2049.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Anyways, after you're done with this conversation.
yeah, you have to kind of mention Vangelis when you mention Blade Runner because he's like some of the reason why the style is the style of that cyberpunk neo-noir sort of thing is popular because of his electronic music. He also did the music for Chariots of Fire, which everybody knows, which is the English Olympic team running across the beach.
Yeah, I was going to say,
He did that music as well. But yeah, Blade Runner is some of his best work. And they reused some of his music in 2049 right at the end.
I couldn't hear because my ears were blocked because it was... Okay.
That's a separate issue that I don't actually think has anything to do with the film.
No, let me make that... Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Yeah, but something I want to make clear is I have this... It's really weird because loud music itself, like if let's say you play like a song or anything like that, loud music deesn't bother me. It's large quells of just sound, deep, like especially bass noises. So there is this, there's that phobia where you're like scared of like little dots that are like little holes that are like clustered close together. I know. It's kind of like in the same type of genre that where it's like irrational fear. A lot of people have it, don't know they have it, and it's not the type of fear where you get really scared. It just makes you uncomfortable. And one of those things is like it's a fear of like certain just like sounds, droning noises. So I used to hate when my parents used to vacuum. It used to just give me such bad like anxiety. I didn't even know why. I just thought maybe I'm like a little weird and crazy. I am a little weird and crazy. And the second one is I still don't really dry my hair with a hairdryer. I have a hairdryer and it's got a very low setting, but you can ask the intern, one of the interns. I literally never dry my hair. I'd rather sleep with it sopping wet or just stay up late enough until it dries because I can't deal with the noise. Or if there is a noise, I have to have music playing to kind of balance it. Anyways, so the
Blade Runner score for this one is done by
like
Hans Zimmer and somebody else, and there's a lot of electronic.
I was okay
noise,
with Interstellar. Like certain scenes, I was a little like, I don't really like this, and it made me feel uncomfortable, but it was okay. I don't know what it was. You said there might have been a problem with
I think that the actual... There's something wrong with the cinema.
Yeah, well, because I think
the music's supposed to be loud, but not like that, because sometimes it would drown out the dialogue.
I think someone had turned the bass aspect of it up. You know how you can turn, like, you can change, you want the
levels and whatever.
Someone turned the bass, because we could hear the windows at the back, so, like, obviously behind the cinema there's, like, a screening room where they screen the film. We could hear the windows of that shaking, rattling. And I'm just, like... And then the final scene was so spectacular, as it is. And I'm sitting there with my hands in my ears just being like, I'm trying to enjoy this.
I think the moment it annoyed me the most is there's a scene close to the end where Harrison Ford's having a conversation with Jared Leto. And it's pretty crucial to the whole plot, but the music's too loud.
Yeah.
Because it's intercut with other stuff.
Yeah.
It's also pretty dramatic that's happening, and it's... But yeah, so I would say that I like this film more than the original. And that it's one of the best sequels ever made. And
that's a big thing coming from you because you don't like sequels. Or
sequels mostly suck.
Yeah.
There's not many that improve upon the original.
Yeah.
Like, this one definitely does.
My one didn't.
Kingsman 2 doesn't. Like, I'm trying to think of good sequels. Like, Aliens is a good sequel, the second Alien film. James Cameron seems to be do okay with sequels.
Yeah.
He did Aliens and he did Terminator 2.
Thing is, it's really hard to find a sequel that's really good.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to think of all the ones that are really bad. Yeah. The one that always comes to mind with me is like the Allison one, Tim Burton's Allison
it's
Wonderland.
It's even worse than the first one.
Yeah, well, I mean, the first one's not great, and then you're like, oh, how can you make more shit like
it's like,
this?
But there's sequels and remakes as well. It's like when they remake a good film, I don't understand because you're not going to get
Charlie and
any
Chocolate Factory.
RoboCop, any of them. Any of them. Anyway, so... Blade Runner?
I'll do Mortal Kombat 2, man.
It's from a shit
Wait, when
movie
you edit, when you post editing, can you add that theme song in? Where it's like...
Yeah, that's the only good part of that whole thing.
Yeah, it is. It's like Mortal Kombat, and then it just goes. That's
and
the
music finishes and it's all shit.
Yeah, it's like you think it's gonna be so good. I don't actually think it's gonna be so good. But you're just like, oh yeah, okay, it's something, and then it's like, oh no, this is not something. Anything times 0 is still 0. Anyway,
so this movie. It's very good. I heard about the possibility of a Blade Runner sequel happening, I think, like 3 years ago. I don't know exactly. There was like talk about it for ages, like, oh, they're going to do it. Oh, that'd be something cool.
I partially think because Ghost in the Shell happened. And then maybe
I don't know. I think it was already
set up,
decided before Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah. I think it's ironic that Ghost in the Shell and Blade Runner were out.
They've got a similar thing. I think this movie's much better.
Of course. By far.
But yes, the Ghost in the Shell thing. Yeah. So the only thing I was like, Blade Runner, the original is pretty good. Lots of people like it, or it's fairly well respected. And lots of stuff's like, no way they're going to make a sequel that's any good. I mean, there's obvious things you can improve in the first one, but no way they're going to make a sequel that's any good. They'll hire some asshole who's shit at making movies and get him to make it, and they'll have a crappy writer and blah, blah, blah. But then they didn't do that. They got Denis Villeneuve to direct it, who's... I think every film he's made is like a home run. Every single film he's made that I've seen is great.
I don't know all his films, unfortunately.
So you got Prisoners, Incendies... That's not how you pronounce that, but I don't know how you pronounce it. Polytechnic, which is about a school shooting. Enemy with Jake Gyllenhaal. That's about commitment, basically, but it's a more arty film.
Okay.
Sicario.
Nope, never heard
That's
of that
really
one.
good.
Really?
That's Emily Blunt. And
I don't know. Speaking of Emily, I don't know how I feel about Emily Blunt. She was in a lot of good films, and then she was not in a lot of good films. Does that make sense?
I think it's a mixture.
Yeah. I mean, she was her. I also Girl on the Train. I really hated her in that.
Did you hate her in that, or just...
I just hated the
shit?
film.
Yeah.
I just hated the film. Let's not talk about it.
Yes, Sicario's good.
I read the book too. I really loved the book, and it just was...
Mm-hmm.
This is not about me. This is not about how sad I am. Because last fortnight's film already made me super sad. So...
yes. So yeah, and then he actually got... I don't know whether he got nominated last year, but Arrival got nominated last year, which he directed with Amy Adams. And that was really good. And that was pretty much about... It was like an alien invasion movie without the invasion, and it was all about communication.
Okay.
Not just with the aliens, but around the world. Because everybody has to get involved, and it was like how everybody else interprets it. Then there's a whole time thing as well, which is very interesting. But, yeah, then he's given a big property... Well, not... I don't see them... I don't know whether they'll make a sequel to this because it's not gonna... It hasn't made any money.
Yeah.
Because it's like... It's an even bigger budget than the first film, and I still don't think there's necessarily an audience for it.
It was a bit of a box office flop.
Yeah, the first one and the second one.
And the second one. But I think it's those films, though. You know, like, certain films which you know are going to flop, but they are good films.
I think... I mean, there's a certain amount of calculated flops in Hollywood, like... So I think they probably... took that into account. I mean, this film was expensive to make. It was $150 million.
You can tell it's
and you
expensive.
can tell it looks great.
It looks really good.
And all the credit goes to Roger Deakins for that because his cinematography is perfect. And he hasn't won an Oscar yet, but he's been nominated I don't know how many times. He did Prisoners and Sicario for Villeneuve as well. And they're like a dream team now.
Yeah, fair enough.
And yeah, he's done Blade Runner. He made it look fantastic. That's the thing that everybody talks about with Blade Runner. Visually fantastic. The first one. That's really what people watch it for, I think, because the story doesn't necessarily bring everybody in because it's got like the story of a short film spread over 2 hours. Yeah. Because
there's just
it's really slow moving.
Is it like Interstellar in the sense that like it's very visually amazing? And
I think it's better than Interstellar because I'll be honest, I'm not a massive fan of Interstellar.
The end of Interstellar just shits on itself, you know?
Yeah, but see, Blade Runner doesn't do that. The Blade Runner stays true to some of its stuff. I mean, Ridley Scott kind of screws it up a bit with some of his stuff, but not entirely. And there's still a really great performance by Rutger Hauer. To kind of...
The thing is, there's a lot of... I mean... I know what you mean. Like, a lot of...
I think the themes are more interesting in Blade Runner as well.
Yeah, of course. Interstellar is literally like... Space. Just space.
But yeah.
And love and space, quantifiable.
Love conquers all in the end.
Oh my god, don't even say that.
That's pretty much the moral of that film, though.
Because that's stupid.
And Anne Hathaway comes out and says it.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my god, why don't you just take a shit on yourself? Seriously.
It's actually quite disappointing.
The thing is, I watched this, And I remember a lot of people saying how amazing it was. A lot of people loved it. Everyone, and initially I was like, I don't really know if I want to see Interstellar. It doesn't seem like a type of film. I mean, Matthew McConaughey is literally just Matthew McConaughey in every film.
I wanted to
he's
see
in.
it because I like Christopher Nolan, but that was... I think the film's good, but I don't think it's great.
No.
And the ending kind of bothers me.
Well, that's
and
the
it
thing.
also takes too long to get there. It's so long.
As soon as he went to the black hole, I thought that's it. He's
That's
dead.
weird because it's that film. I feel like a lot more stuff happens on screen. It's a lot more happening, but I think Blade Runner I was more entertained by, and that's really slow moving. 2049, because that's about the same running time as Interstellar.
Yeah. It was a good film. I was talking to a friend because she's not a movie buff, but she does enjoy her movies, and she enjoyed Mother, and she enjoyed not Interstellar. I was going to say Interstellar. She enjoyed Blade Runner because she actually asked me about it. She's like, "Oh, have you seen Blade Runner?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "What do you think?" And I'm like, "Oh, I really enjoyed it." And she's like, "Good, yeah, me too. It was such a beautiful film, blah blah blah, etc. etc." And then I was kind of joking to her, and I was like, "Oh, I can't believe they were the same length. It was the same length as Transformers, because Transformers
Feels
felt
so much longer,
like a 3
and it's paced much quicker than."
Yeah, like a lot
Blade
of things
Runner.
happen, but it's just I was telling her how like when we went to watch it,
It felt like torture.
literally 20 minutes in, I just remember looking over, and you were just like, "Fuck me," and then I was like, "Fuck."
Like, you know what it is?
Me.
There's so much
And then the
just
intern was
random
like,
shit
"Fuck."
happening. There's so much just random shit happening on the screen.
Yeah.
You get tired, and then
Yeah.
it just seems longer and
Yeah,
longer
I
and
know.
longer.
But what was the film that we both? Oh, Valerian. I remember we watched.
so boring.
We always have this look we give each other when we were just done with one of these films. We're just like, why did we do this to ourselves?
Anyway, Blade Runner.
Anyways, yeah.
So
I'll stop interrupting.
the problem with the original one is kind of Ridley Scott's meddling with the theme of is Deckard a replicant. They bring that up in the second one in an interesting way. They don't confirm it. They don't really deny it. They just put it out there and then they take it away again, which is pretty good. Like they did it. They give you a few questions. But the first one was about basically you've got Rutger Hauer, who's Roy Batty, and his group of basically slave people who are replicants, bioengineered humans, who are designed to do crappy work off-world on another planet. And then, yeah, pretty much because...
Protein farm.
Yeah, like in the second one, it's a protein farm. But he, comes back to Earth to look for his creator to extend his life form because he doesn't want to die. And he's got the interesting part. Deckard's got the boring part of he's kind of told that they've been there on the loose, that he's got to go and kill them before they do whatever they're planning on doing.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really do... Like, there's no real mystery in that film. He just goes looking for them. He does a few weird things, like pretending to be a weird, like, kind of reporter or something to talk to one of them and then shoots them. But the main thing with his story is Rachel, played by Sean Young in the film. She's a replicant who's the newer model who they imprint with fake memories to make them sort of more human.
Less creepy.
And less creepy, even though she acts robotic through most of the movie. And there's no chemistry between her and Harrison Ford because they hated each other.
Wonderful. You're funny he had to act like... Not with her, but there's a scene where he like...
Yeah, so 2049 does that really well. Unlike Rogue One. Anyway.
What did they do in Rogue One?
You haven't seen Rogue One, have you?
No, I haven't.
Okay, they brought Peter Cushing and Carrie Fisher back. But Carrie Fisher, they made her young from like back in 1979. 78? I don't even know. They because it's set just before A New Hope.
Oh, yeah.
Peter Cushing, who is dead in real life,
Yeah.
they made him like digital version of him into the film and just put him in acting alongside everybody else, and it's kind of obvious that it's a CGI.
That's
dude.
really... CGI, like, characters, when done really poorly,
But
creep me the fuck
Princess
out.
Leia one is way worse because like Peter Cushing, you're like, there's like moments where it looks kind of okay, but you're like, eh.
You can tell he's not real.
And then right at the end,
yeah.
it's she takes this thing and she's like, oh, it's like, they're like, what's that? And she's like, hope. And she turns around, looks at the camera, and it's like, like smiling.
I wish people could see.
It's really.
Can I watch the scene afterwards?
I'll show it to you. Yeah. It's just horrible. There's one good scene in that whole movie, and that's when Darth Vader cuts people up.
Oh, great!
And then it ends, and you go, wow.
I
waited 2 hours for that scene.
Like,
this movie's so boring.
Oh my god.
Anyway.
Well, you know what? You've got a money tin with Rogue One on it, Ren.
I bought that before I saw the film.
Oh.
And I saw the film.
Do you regret it?
Oh, fuck.
Do you want to just like wipe that out? Just get a Sharpie and
I want to scribble all over Donnie Yen's face because he's sucked in it.
Which one's... Is that the the red guy?
No, not yet.
Oh, the Asian guy?
Yeah. That's Donnie Yen.
Oh. He's in like a lot of...
Chinese movies.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, because I'm Chinese.
He's Ip Man. He's Ip Man. So, anyway, back to the actual
I'm sorry, I keep doing this.
Yeah, I know. So 2049. We finally got... We're nearly half an hour into this thing. We finally got to 2049. So 2049 is... I'm not quite... Yeah, it's set in 2049. After some sort of catastrophic blackout, they call it, where a lot of data and history was lost and so on. And they're still tracking down old models that aren't, I think, imprinted with memories like the new ones, like Ryan Gosling's character Kay, who is a replicant Blade Runner working for the LAPD. And his job is to kill old model replicants that are basically rogue. So pretty much the first scene, which is a pretty great scene, is of him turning up to a protein farm just outside of LA to kill Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's weird.
So that's a good scene. He kills him and then he scans this tree because there aren't many trees left. And finds that there's a box underground that's been buried. His superior, played by Robin Wright. I almost always call her Claire because of her role in House of Cards.
Yeah.
And they find remains of a replicant woman inside who appears to have died in childbirth somehow, even though that's not supposed to be able to happen.
Yeah, it's not physically possible.
And basically that's the whole spark that sets off the plot, because then Kay's got to go and look for the child, because if the child falls into basically like the replicant resistance hands, then there's going to be war. But that's what she predicts
thinks,
anyway.
Yeah.
And basically then it's from then on it's, it's he actually, unlike the original, there's actually some stuff we don't know that we need to find out, and we find out with Kay what happens.
Yeah.
There's some really cool, interesting stuff, like his hologram wife, Joy.
Is she his wife or just a girlfriend?
Well, that's...
Partner.
The idea is, like, it's supposed to simulate a relationship, but in the most obvious way, like, she just agrees with everything. She's just really nice all the time, she doesn't have any opinions of her own. She just tells him everything he wants to hear. She tells him he's special, all these sorts of things, like... And that's that's literally how the marketing is for her thing.
Yeah.
And it's funny because they don't draw attention to the fact that she's a product at the start of the film to kind of make you almost think that he is the way that they do it. And he's not.
No.
We find out. But, so basically it builds up and he goes on the thing and, spoilers. At first he thinks because he has this memory of when he was a child running through this like furnace place in a pretty much like a child slave labor orphanage place, hiding a wooden toy horse with a date marked on it, a date that he finds on the tree where he found the body. He believes that he's the child, he's special, he's the product of a human and a replicant procreating. And yeah, that's not true, but but it's very good. It's very interesting the way they unravel it.
Yeah. Normally I am okay. I know you're probably better at me than this, but I'm normally pretty good at picking up when it's like, oh, you're trying to mislead me.
Mm.
And I was completely misled.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly was like, oh my God, he's the special.
Yeah.
He's
think
like in Lego, like he's the special man.
that's what's so good about it, because
Yeah.
I was thinking from the start, oh, he's a child.
Yeah.
And that's how this movie's going to go.
Yeah.
And then, oh, okay.
He's not the child.
He's actually just as much of a tool as he's supposed to be.
She's
like,
the child. There is one thing, and you know how I am when I get into these like moods about this. This is just what makes me like a crazy person. I think this is, those things that make you like, people look at you and like, you're crazy. This is one of those things, like, if like a film doesn't flow in a certain way, or if there's like a loose end that I can't explain.
Blade Runner's made for loose ends, though. That's
true.
the whole point.
Yeah, that's true.
Most of the time.
But like, there's this one thing that it's been 2 weeks almost 2 weeks since we watched this film. Has it? No, it's been a week. It's been a week since we watched this film.
Yep.
And to this day, I still can't like explain it. I mean, I'm trying to, and it's not working, but pretty much the idea of the new replicants, so like Ryan Gosling's character Kay, and they're all made so that they cannot disobey.
Okay, so I know what you mean.
Yeah, right?
That's not technically true. When I went back and had a think, and then I had a look online, what makes them more obedient, I think, is because they never go like, they're not programmed so much. They're just monitored over and over again.
Yeah.
Like, he goes through this test, like where he's supposed to repeat words and things like that to check whether he's leveled out.
Yeah.
And they're checking vitals. They actually do a similar thing in the first one with testing eyes.
Yeah.
Because that was the only way they could tell if you're a replicant, because something was different about the eyes. I can't remember what it was, but
there's a number there, isn't there? Or
I don't know. I mean, they do it, and it's like, look up and to the left, and I'll scan it.
yeah,
Oh, you're a replicant. Shoot you.
yeah,
Sort of thing. That's the thing in this. In the original, it's like an interview. Sits down, and they've got like a camera on the eye, and like the screen's up, and he's asking him questions, like personal questions and stuff. That, I mean, obviously, because technology's supposed to have moved on, it's like, okay, I can just scan you now and work it out. But I think the idea is that the reason why they are imprinted with memories that are completely constructed now, like in the first one, it was like Tyrell's niece. We've just gotten some of her memories and we've shoved them into Rachel or something like that. That's what Deckard tells her.
Yeah.
To make her realise she's a replicant, because he tells her a story that she's never told anybody, which is in her memories. And she's like, oh, okay,
fuck.
Exactly. So, and they kind of play with that in this by going, he tells Thingo about it, and then it's like, oh, it's real.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a real memory, and it is a real memory, but it's not his. So that's But that's kind of the point, because we're going to spoil the whole film probably in the next.
Sorry, guys.
The next bit, because the scene, there's a scene where he goes to visit the woman who makes the memories for the replicants. And he talks to her, and she's constructing like a birthday party in front of her as she's doing it, and she's supposed to be really fantastic at it. She plays his memory on the thing, and she cries.
Yeah.
Pretty much confirms that it's real, and then Kay freaks out.
Yeah.
And I mean, we find out later she's the child, and she put the memory in him because she can. She does that. I think the reason why Kay ends up going off because he can is because of that memory. Because it's like a little thing in the... It's like otherwise perfectly constructed person because of their memories, like to be obedient, to be this type of character, except for that. And that's like a disruptive thing. Yeah. Everybody else would be fine. But because she's done it just to him...
It's true.
Yeah. And the fact that Deckard like screws up the records to say that it's male instead of female, so they're looking for a boy.
Yeah.
So he just assumes it's him.
I guess that makes sense, yeah.
But in the end, that's why I'm saying, like, in the end he realizes it's a tool, because she just pretty much put the memory in him just to trigger something that set things in motion so that he'd go looking. Oh. So he is technically still obedient.
No, but what about that chick with the bangs, the one that crushes the glass and is all crazy? She...
But who says she's supposed to be like...
No, but she lies, because... What's Jared Leto's character? Wallace. So the scene... What's the... Claire's actor?
Robin Wright.
Like, she goes to see...
She kills Robin Wright, yeah.
She kills Robin Wright, and then as she's going to kill her, she's like, I'm just going to say you came at me first to Mr. Wallace. And kills her. And I'm like, wait, that doesn't that mean you have to lie and disobey?
The thing is like, how did the replicants conceive? It's like, oh, she was... In the first one, Rachel was an experimental unit because she had the memories. But in this, it's like, oh, she's also an experimental thing for giving birth. Maybe.
No, I'm not talking about Rachel, but I'm talking about like...
No, but I mean, like, I'm saying the same sort of thing. It's like, it's either programmed or it isn't, or it's something else. Because they're not robots. They're genetically engineered humans. And so I think that's an important distinction, because robots you can program down to behavior at every level, whereas, like, humans, I think it's like, oh, you learn a bit, something changes.
Damn.
So, yeah.
I think that just shows, like, when you're making a film about genetically...
Because I think...
It's going to be like, there are some plot holes, but yeah, that's...
No, I think...
Because we're human.
No, because I think that's the thing about Blade Runner. There's a grey area, and there's things that aren't supposed to be explained. Like,
I don't like it.
There's a lot of interesting stuff in the first one that isn't explained.
That's true.
No, and it doesn't have to be. Like, it's...
But you know
it's
me,
supposed to make you ask questions and
I
just
don't
think
like
about
asking
it.
questions. I like all the answers. You know how stubborn I am, though. Like every time we finish watching a film together, I go on Wikipedia and I'm like, this doesn't make sense. I'm just hoping Wikipedia can somehow explain this to me. And if it can't, then this movie is shit.
The important thing is that it doesn't ruin your enjoyment.
No,
of the film.
it is. No, it's a very enjoyable film.
I think it's interesting as well. It's like that. Spoilers as well. Kay dies at the end of this movie.
Yeah,
off screen, not.
But
100%
I guess
confirmed.
it's implied.
But yeah, well, it's pretty much. I got it through the music. As if you've seen the original, the same music plays when Rutger Hauer dies. At the end of the film, it's the same music that plays when Ryan Gosling like opens his jacket and there's blood coming out.
Yeah, because
and he
he's
lies
been
down on the
stabbed.
steps. I think because he's finished his use as well, being the
Used by data.
pretty well. He's a tool.
Yeah.
His purpose is over. Exactly what he was supposed to do is finished, and he's dead.
Now that you mention that does make more sense.
That's kind of like, it's always more in Blade Runner. It's like they die after teaching somebody a lesson, like Deckard a lesson.
Yeah.
Like Roy Batty dies after giving a speech, which is still one of the most famous in cinema history. Tears in the Rain speech, and then he dies. His 4-year lifespan comes to an end right there.
Don't even say that, break my heart. I just think it's interesting because if you go back to watch it again, not that we're gonna. I mean, I'm not gonna go pay for it. I'm sorry.
I would totally go and see it.
No, I would not go see it. I mean, like, not because I didn't enjoy it, just because like
it's a long time.
it was
to
a
spend
long
in the cinema.
film. Yeah, it's a long
You have to
film.
spend money.
Some money. I'm poor.
I mean, I will definitely
I've
watch
had
it again
tuna and
later.
rice for lunch 4 days in a row now. You know, like, guys, please.
When they release it on Blu-ray,
Yeah,
I'll buy it.
yeah, definitely. But if you go back and watch it again and you watch the scene where like certain interactions happen, you realize that he's not the kid, and it's funny because like it's really like small things, like, you know, the girl crying when she's looking at the memory, and initially you think it's because she's like, oh crap, like this is real, what do I tell him? And then you realize it's because she knows that he's
I think
he's the one who's...
one of the more interesting scenes to me, there's no dialogue in it per se from a character,
No.
but there's... So after all the stuff's happened and he's kind of realised his role, before he goes off to save Deckard from going off-world, and he blows up the other things and fights Love, she's called, which is funny. Interesting. He's walking across a rooftop, and Joy, who is now his dead digital girlfriend, the marketing thing for her, the big purple naked version of her, like points him out and says something, and he's just like looking at it, and he's bleeding, and he looks up. And it's like, because that's the moment he sort of realized, like, shit, I'm just as much of a tool as that.
Yeah.
Really, like I just went. It's like slightly more human than that, but
Not really.
not really. Like, I'm still made for a purpose, you know.
It was weird because there are certain scenes where it's like no dialogue. It's not, I mean, I wouldn't say
But
quiet,
you understand everything.
but
so.
it's like, it's kind of like sad. There's no other way. It's not like a pity type of sad. It's just
It's very
somber,
melancholy.
Yeah, melancholic.
That's what
the right
Blade
word.
Runner looks like.
And it's just like, I mean, the whole scene of it's like, you know, all these digital stuff, people all teched out and all that.
Well,
And
it's like
then
the thing that I think it was...
he's very like, I'm a lone wolf kind of, I'm a dark
Yeah.
horse, the black sheep.
Well, it's like there's no real sense of like community or like people coming together. Everything feels so
the way he's
separate and
portrayed is
horrible.
like, he is like, I know this sounds weird because it's like, it's kind of a weird way of describing, but it's like the way they portray him is like he is the loneliest person in the world sometimes, because he's the Blade Runner. He kills his own
But at
species.
the same time, like
quotation species.
even amongst his own people, he's like,
exactly.
He's considered.
An
They
outcast.
call him a skin job because he's a replicant Blade Runner.
Yeah.
It's like the
Oxymoron.
cops don't even like him.
Bit of an oxymoron.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of, I mean, it's depressing because he's got like a make-believe girlfriend and he truly loves her. He truly loves her to a point because there's a scene where like...
He transfers her over into a little stick so he can take her everywhere.
Yeah. But then like obviously as he's...
Then love kills joy.
Yeah. And then the thing is, as she is about to step on this little device, Joy goes to say, I love you.
Yeah,
and she doesn't. She doesn't. She never gets to say it. And it's like I just rip my heart out right there and stomp on it. That's
they
how
totally did what, in a more interesting visual way, but have you seen Her?
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix, yeah.
Yeah.
There's the scene where the OS hires a prostitute.
I don't remember. I watched Her like literally 3-4 years ago, so I don't remember.
Well, there's a scene where the OS, the Scarlett Johansson's voice character,
oh yeah, no.
hires a prostitute to sleep with him.
Yeah, and then it happens in...
It happens in Blade Runner as well, but in a more visually interesting way, I think.
Yeah,
because,
that was done so cool.
Yeah,
like I really enjoyed
cool.
that. I don't know. Does that mean Joy could read that girl's mind, or would that?
She just kind of synced, I think, with her movements or something. Like not entirely. Like it was like, oh, I'll just follow what she's doing, kind of. Yeah. But she's a machine as well, so it's all programmed.
Yes, but the prostitute was a replicant, wasn't she?
Probably.
Because...
I mean, that's one of the things in the first film. Like all the shitty jobs are given to the replicants, so prostitution and all that sort of stuff. Like all that sort of stuff is given to the replicants because they're not really human. Yeah. But the Tyrell company is more human than human. That's their motto.
So weird.
I think it's funny, actually, though, speaking of the company...
Did you just see what I said? Sorry,
no.
cut that out. I was like, better than a flesh toy. Just cut that
that's
out.
what they say at the brothels.
Oh, my God.
The interesting thing as well is I think Jared Leto redeemed himself a little bit in this movie. I think he's
After
much
the Joker?
better. Yeah, he's much better in this.
I liked him as the Joker.
I didn't like him at all.
I liked him. I mean, I liked...
you just like the Joker, though.
That is also true. I like Heath Ledger more, I'm sorry.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
Who was the Joker in?
Jack Nicholson?
No.
Tim Burton? Mark Hamill in the cartoons?
Mark Hamill. Not Tim Burton.
He's got the best voice.
He's a man. I'm going to be so... he's not doing any more. After the...
After the last game, Arkham Knight?
No. What was that?
Oh, The Killing Joke.
After The Killing Joke, he's not doing anymore, so it kind of breaks my heart. But now whenever I hear him do anything, I'm just like...
You're going to be watching The Last Jedi going...
Yeah, Joker.
It's a joke.
Like, if you don't mind if I move on to another discussion really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I know I sent you a link to this. They're making a Joker / Harley Quinn...
romance.
Love
story.
Let me reiterate that love story. Like, what the fuck are you doing? I remember I don't actually blog that much in terms of film because most of the stuff we talk about in this podcast.
Is that the same Joker film that Scorsese's supposedly producing?
I hope not.
If it is, it'd be probably be okay, but if it's not, it's gonna suck.
Anyways, I remember when I first saw Suicide Squad, I wrote a blog post about it. I know I talked about it with you, but I wrote a blog post about it before I started doing this podcast. And one of the things I wrote at the very bottom was, Joker and Harley Quinn film, make it happen. This is not what I wanted at all.
But they say love story. Is that?
It's going to be a legit, because I know for a fact that DC portrayed it as a love story to get females to come and watch it. As shitty, or like whoever is interested.
It didn't come off like that to me.
It came off, but that's what it is intended to.
It came up to me like she was his pet, which is exactly kind of how.
But do you know why? Because after Suicide Squad came out, the influx. I'm not even kidding. The influx of females who were like, "Oh my god, you're Harley Quinn for life! Oh my god, just couple goals! Oh my god, this is what I want in life."
I want to be dumped into a vat of acid.
No, like legitimately, the number of people who were like, "Oh yeah, Joker and Harley Quinn are like couple goals," was immense. Like it was this huge. I know. And then for someone like, not necessarily just us, but for people who fully understand the toxic environment that is their relationship, it is like hard. I mean, look,
I get it.
I get it. Yeah, exactly. I get it. But at the same time, if we're talking about the actual fandom and the actual comic world in that sense, like, no, it's not a thing. It's not a romantic.
I would like to see the psychological thriller about how he makes her crazy.
Yeah, like that's what I want to see. That's what I meant, guys. DC, just give me what I fucking want. Why?
No, they're not giving you what they want.
I know they're giving
all the people who don't give a shit.
I'm pretty sure they're just going to do a Twilight version of Harley Quinn and Joker.
Oh god!
Like legitimately. Oh my god! We can't be together.
I
we
do
have to
kind
be
of
together.
like the
I'm
one
really
thing.
crazy.
I do kind of like the one thing that DC's going for, which is
Did I say Wonder Woman?
no, not Wonder Woman. I mean, doing films that are only supposed to be a story within that one film, and not linking it to a larger universe.
Yeah, no.
I like that idea more than going, look, Justice League 2, 3, and 5,
4, 5,
and 27,
6.
Wonder Woman 9, the one where they don't call the Justice League for some reason.
It just
Captain America 3, which should have been called the Avengers
Avengers
3.
But it's like, nah, we've got to keep it consistent, guys. We need to
No, because number 3 has to be Infinity War.
Yeah, I know.
That's going to be a clusterfuck.
I mean,
Yeah.
look.
Anyway, go see Blade Runner. I don't really want to talk about the plot too much more because I want people to actually watch it.
No, it's too late for that, Ren.
That's true. I will say that the scene between Deckard and Wallace was one of the better ones in the film as well, because that was where they kind of mended a lot of the problems from the first film.
Yeah.
Or like brought them up and then disregarded them. Like how Wallace debates because he doesn't know what Tyrell was planning.
Yeah.
And he's not quite sure about it, and he wants to find the child to learn the secret so that he can make replicants quicker, pretty much.
Oh my god, it'd be like a baby producing factory.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, he already kind of does that, but they're fully grown.
Yeah. Oh, well, that scene where he's like cutting open that replicant.
Yeah,
and
that was
weird.
That was
uncomfortable.
It was a good scene, but yeah, it was weird.
I don't know why he cut her open, but okay.
It's like there's no room here. Look, I can't make anything with this.
Oh.
I'm like a god.
I mean, okay.
Kind of like that. But yeah, the scene with him and Harrison Ford was very
Really
good.
good, yeah.
And the digital work they did to make Sean Young look like she was back in 1982 when the original film was made was fantastic.
I know. I was like, part of me was like, is this a double? Is this what is this?
So from what I heard, it's a body double with a
Face.
de-aged face on thing.
On thing.
Unlike what they did with Carrie Fisher. And,
oh my god, you have to show me
Peter
that.
Cushing.
I can't
It's
even.
so ugly. Especially the Princess Leia.
Do you know?
You know what's worse though? Is she died the same time, and I was like, oh no.
Like, this is your Carrie Fisher is actually an amazing person. Like,
She's cool.
She's a really like there's celebrities who just do a lot with their
I did
fame
get sad watching the latest Last Jedi trailer. Watching this, so she's obviously supposed to die in this movie.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're planning on hiding it because it's like, well, she can't be in number 3, guys. So it's like Kylo Ren flying his ship, and then him like knowing his mother's in there, and then just getting ready and hitting the button, and then it doesn't show like the explosion or anything, but you get the idea that she's going to get blown up.
Kylo Ren, I like him as a character, but oh my god, he's such a cunt. Seriously. Like, I was watching not Rogue One, and the New Hope.
Pretty much. Force Awakens.
You
You
actually was like, New Hope.
That was 2 years ago already.
I know, but I remember watching that, and I was like, and I knew Harrison Ford's character, like
Han Solo
dies. I knew he dies, and I know it's like Kylo Ren who kills him. But still, as I'm watching, I'm like,
what an asshole!
oh, you're such a fucking dick, dude. What the fuck? Your dad's just trying to be nice, man. Couldn't you just like give him a kick in the nuts and like just let him go for the day? God damn it!
You had to make Chewbacca cry.
Chewbacca crying, and that's actually the saddest part. Chewbacca going.
But yeah.
No, do you know when you talk about like artificial Carrie Fisher, I think of artificial Twilight Baby.
That's probably worse though.
That's way worse. That's terrifying. I'm actually like, oh my god.
Prop Baby and American Sniper.
Oh my god, no. Actually, have you seen, do you know Wicked, the musical?
Yes.
So
I haven't seen it, but I know
I've seen it twice. I'm a big Wicked fan. I think it's one of the only musicals that people I know are more likely to want to see because of how big the hype is behind it. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, when I ask people, hey, do you want to go see Book of Mormon's out now and all these other Aladdin? But a lot of people are like, meh, I heard it's not. Or, like, either they'll be like, it's good, but I don't know if it's worth paying. But a lot of people, when I say Wicked, they'll be like, yeah, I'm totally into it. So I went to see it twice. I went to see it once in, like, middle school and then once after I finished high school a few years later. And the first scene is them talking about, like, the main witch who's like the bad witch. She's getting born and she's green, and they hold up to the very front. So they move up to the very front and they're holding this big green plastic baby.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a plastic baby, Ren. And the music just, and it's a scene where the music just cuts and they're holding this baby. And there is like, there's not just like one or two, there's like a whole bunch of actors there. And you just have to sit there and watch this green plastic baby and they're just holding it. And it's like, I think the intended use is humor. But if you can just imagine just like, and silence. And then like first time I watched the audience didn't laugh, second time people did laugh. But I'm like, as an actor, like how do you not just go, it's a fucking green plastic baby? Like what the fuck do you do?
How did Bradley Cooper stay in character when he was holding a fucking plastic
well,
baby?
You know, whenever you see like really, really low budget films, obviously they don't have a proper baby.
Or
so
something. It's
like a covered bundle.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, you know, this beautiful baby. And then they add in like fake baby sounds like that
sound like a
the bird. It's like cricket sounds. Oh. Anyways,
yeah,
I think we should end the podcast now.
We should.
Yeah, so final thoughts.
I don't know what we're going to watch next, but yeah, final thoughts, go watch Blade Runner.
Well, let's see what's on before we clock off.
Other things are on. Other things that aren't Blade Runner.
Ninjago?
Oh, Jesus, no.
No. Halloween's coming up, though.
It is.
There's The Mountain Between Us. Happy Death Day. I don't want to watch that. I'm scared. Oh my god, Kenji. Ooh. Flatliners, no. Battle of the Sexes, meh.
Mm-hmm.
Battle of the Sexes is PG?
Yeah.
Who the fuck's going to want to watch that?
It's not what you think it is. It's about tennis players.
Yeah, I know. The
Anyway.
Only Living Boy in New York.
Anyway, we will find something.
I want to watch The Mountain Between Us, to be fair.
Okay.
It looks... it's like one of those films, like, I know it probably won't be good, but I'm hoping it'll be pleasant.
When is The Snowman coming out?
No, I'm not. I refuse to watch
I
that.
wanna see that.
Those are the types of films that I like to see. To be fair, what's his name again? Magneto.
Michael Fassbender.
He looks really good in that, but it's one of those films I like to be at home with a notepad just being like, I think I know who the killer is. Like with everything I watch.
Okay.
Anyways,
we'll end it
let's
there.
end it there.
That was good fun.
And turn the aircon on.
Blade Runner's the best. Go see it. And yeah.
Yeah.